Kanan! Ahsoka! I brought help!
Maul.
The Shadow.
What fun! What fun!
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's a ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to
Kessel Run Weekly.
My name is Danny.
I'm Heather.
Alright guys, and today we have a pretty cool topic, I think, one that's been a long time coming for us, because you're kind of a super fan.
I love me some Maul.
Oh yes, Darth Maul.
Darth Maul!
Yes, so, I mean, obviously we know he's already met his end in Rebels, but it's time to celebrate him, because he needs some friends here. He's been through a lot.
Yeah, I liked his demise, but it was bittersweet to me.
It was bittersweet. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I guess just diving right into it, I mean, Maul's always been, well, I say always, he was up until Clone Wars a very underused character. He was this character that was just like, wow, it's so awesome, and then cut down literally by 50%.
Yeah, he got shorter.
Yeah, he got much shorter. In his first movie, I mean, it was just it was disheartening because I remember, like, as a kid, like, I loved Darth Maul, like, even leading up into the movie, because you know how they always do the toys before the movie and all that kind of stuff. Like, I was searching for the Darth Maul action figure, which I recently found at Second and Charles here recently. I was very excited for. I was like, oh man, it's like a flashback into my childhood, but because that was like the toy to have then. But I mean, I love Darth Maul, the look of him, the character himself, even though he didn't say much, like, you just got this presence from him.
Right. I see in the book, he's this character that he was taken from Dathomir as a child and raised as a Sith for his abilities. And in the Phantom Menace book, he's been raised to hate the Jedi. I mean, they have stolen everything from the Sith, and we have to hide, and we have to do this and that, just because of this conglomerate of, that us two are going to take down, So when he gets to go in the Phantom Menace, he's ready, and he's been waiting with bated breath to, like, pounce.
Oh, yeah.
And he finally gets to come out, and he is excited.
Well, and I like how you said that, pounce.
Yes.
Because he always gave off kind of the vibe of like a rabid animal, like just ready to hunt, just to kill at any given second. And now we haven't really read the new comic line, but I know in the comic line, yeah, I've got part of it. Like, I went through to the comic book store and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get the whole line. Got back home, I'm missing number 3. So, yeah, so I have all of them, but one of them. But I mean, like, I know in the first one, I've read that one where, like, this guy's hunting Rathtars. Like, and we've seen those things in action in Force Awakens.
You're not hauling Rathtars on here, are you?
So, I mean, it's just kind of, just Maul in general. I mean, he's savage. Like,
he's
savage, an animal, but at the same time, very controlled, which makes him, like, the ultimate weapon almost.
He's brutal. He is. Mm-hmm. And speaking of savage, Savage, finds him on, I can't remember, the junk planet.
Yeah.
The track.
I think it was like a junk planet. I want to say it was Lothal. Like, not on Lothal, but there was like a junk moon, I think it was, right, of Lothal or something like that.
And I can't remember exactly. I'm sure that's, but he's ravaged with insanity.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how would you feel if you got cut in half and then thrown away, literally?
Literally, yeah. Tossed down, and there you go.
Do you know where he got his spider legs? I'm asking.
I think it's been a minute since I've watched this episode, but I think it was something to do with the Force doing that. So in the Darth Vader comics, I think it was like number 4 or 3, something like that, we actually see Vader do something similar where he takes parts from a droid and it starts to infuse with him and repair himself.
Right.
I think with Maul, it was like this overwhelming revenge and not really will to live, but will to carry out that revenge. And through the Force, he inadvertently created this for him.
And
basically.
He used the tools given to him by Sidious to survive. So, yeah.
Definitely. And real quick, too, like, I want to give, like, major props to Sam Witwer, the voice actor for Maul. I mean, my goodness. I've listened to interviews of him talking about, like, putting those scenes together and stuff like that, because it's really cool seeing a lot of what he said in the beginning, where Savage first found him and everything, where he was saying something. It was something to the effect of that it's what's in your mind is the hard part. And kind of stuff like that came full circle in Rebels when we get to see him again and everything. Like, a lot of those themes, if anything, Maul is consistent. He knows what he wants and he goes for it. And so, I mean, Sam Witwer played him beautifully.
Yes.
Like, if there was ever a way to play it, yeah.
I can't think of anyone that could have done it better, except for maybe the guy that auditioned for it.
Yes, Warwick Davis. Yeah.
Except for maybe him.
Yes, except for maybe Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Warwick Davis is getting his coming up. So
exactly. I'm excited to see that.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, even moving forward that, so, I mean, the most uninventive name ever, Savage Opress.
Yes.
He found.
As far as Star Wars, you know, that is pretty unoriginal considering normal Star Wars names.
Oh, definitely. Well, I guess the trend with me is kind of continued because with Rebels, I started watching it because I found out Ahsoka met Vader. And so I started watching the whole thing because I told you originally I wasn't really into it because it kind of seemed a little young. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this just isn't for me. But when I saw the Ahsoka meets Vader, I got into it. The same thing with Clone Wars is I found out Maul came back. And I was like, wait.
When he comes back? Wow, killing kids and all kinds of stuff. That is brutal.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's it's completely in his character, too. Mm-hmm. It's just something that we never got to really see fleshed out on screen, which would have been, I mean, it would have taken Phantom Menace to like a Revenge of the Sith level kind of darkness.
Yes.
But yeah, no, he comes full force straight after Kenobi, as soon as he gets his mind back from the Night Sisters and everything.
Right, he gets his mind back, and he gets new legs from Mommy.
Yep. Yep. The Night Mother.
Yes. Yeah. He gets his mind back, and when he does, man, I feel sorry for Kenobi in a way. And it's going to be a while before his revenge is enacted, really. But it's wow.
Oh, definitely. And what's cool too with that, I mean, back with him being that animalistic kind of character, I mean, you can almost kind of see it between the crazy Maul and then when he's honed in. It's like a dull weapon that hasn't really been used in a while, really doesn't know his purpose, and he's just kind of like, I don't know, I've got to do something, I've got to survive, I've got to do this and everything. And then all of a sudden it's like somebody took him in and made him well, and all of a sudden he's like, I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Like the first
thing.
And he
got the Sith patience, even though you would think in Phantom Menace he really didn't have a ton of patience. You know, he was like, let's go. But, you know, in Clone Wars, he developed it, I guess, over, you know, he's like, I've come this far, so, yeah, we're going to do this. And when we do, it's going to be brutal.
Well, and I think he really... Yeah, and I think he really got the patience after his second bout with Kenobi, where him and Savage both lost. It's right before they're discovered by Death Watch, but they lost, and he was just kind of like, okay, well, can't do this the second time the same way, basically, because Maul's like, okay, so the first time didn't work because it was just me. What if I add one more person?
Right.
and
his name is Savage, so you can't get any more savage than that.
That's true. I mean, it kind of is.
You're adding savagery.
And then when you say it with that French accent, I mean...
Exactly.
It's even more savage.
No, it's Savage.
It's Savage. But yeah, so I mean, that first encounter with Kenobi though, like, is insane. And I love how the animators set that scene. Like one of the major things, and it's not major, but one of the things I remember most about that scene is that droid that Kenobi comes up on as he's walking down that path, where literally it's just sitting there, just hitting the wall over and over again. Like, it made me feel like in a horror movie when you see that kind of stuff,
right?
Where it's like that repetitive, get you in a trance kind of thing. But like, it was freaky, because I mean, this guy terrorized this town to a point where it messed up a droid.
Exactly. That's what I mean, was like, wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, it was rough. But I mean, even going forward from there, like, he continues that, except he's more of a honed weapon. He's more polished. He's more, okay, cool. It didn't work the first time. Let's do it this way.
Let's go behead some people.
Right. Basically, yeah.
And we're going to accumulate our shadow collective by cutting off heads and taking names.
Now, that scene with the Black Suns was awesome.
That was supposed to be a longer scene. It got cut.
Oh, was it?
It got cut for content. It got censored. But
I could imagine.
You can actually get that full scene, I think, on the Blu-ray extras.
See, now I need to get the I need to get the Blu-rays now. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to put, like, I don't know if they have yet, but like a complete Clone Wars. So I know they've got the individual seasons and stuff like that. I don't know if they have one that's complete yet with everything in it. I want the same for Rebels too. Yeah. That's why I haven't bought those yet. I'm just kind of like, but yeah.
So, yeah, and they also did that with Pre Vizsla. They showed him cutting off his head and the head rolling down the stairs. And it didn't make the cut because, you know, it's a kids show. And so, yeah, it was... Maul's
whole arc is like, it should be censored. But,
yes.
I mean, it got dark.
But it's so great. But
it is so great.
That's why we are going to talk about why the animated series are indeed Star Wars and why they should not be discounted just because they're animated.
Oh, definitely. That episode's absolutely coming soon.
Very soon.
Absolutely. But yeah, but I mean, like, everything with Maul, and I especially love him on Mandalore, because you see, it's almost like you actually see the Sidious come out of it, what he learned from his master, that long game that Palpatine played for forever. I don't know how somebody has that kind of patience, and to not mess up, slip up, or anything like that. I mean, there were a couple close calls, but at the same time, like, one thing could have taken it all down. And the same thing with Maul. He was one shot away from losing it all, which he ends up losing it all. Yeah. But yeah, but I mean, his duel with Pre Vizsla and everything, because I mean, I really never liked Pre Vizsla anyways. For one, his voice kind of, I don't know, it didn't strike leader-esque to me. It seemed a little whiny to me, but I mean, that's up to me. Well, that's my opinion. Up to me. I don't know why I said that. That's my opinion. But I mean, I like the duel between them because it really showed Maul's, I guess, his proficiency and how much of a weapon he really truly is. And then for him to just, no, I'm going to lose your head.
I would have loved to have read that arc. Like the actual, you know.
Oh my gosh, that would have been great.
I would have loved to have been able to read what was going through Pre Vizsla's mind. Because to me, I mean, Maul, Pre Vizsla got some strikes in there a couple of times, but it kind of looked to me like Maul was just playing with them.
Oh, yeah. It was the lion playing with his food.
Yep.
It's literally what it was.
He's like, I'm going to give him something here. And, you know, yeah.
He was taunting him the whole time. So I completely agree with that.
So do you want to talk about what happened when he finally does get Kenobi after Pre Vizsla? I know it's one of your favorite scenes in Clone Wars. It
breaks my heart with what happens because, I mean, with it's cool though that you finally get to see that Obi-Wan dealt with a lot of the same things that Anakin did. Because Obi-Wan's character, which I mean, it's not saying anything negative to the character, but he's always been the Jedi. You and I have had that conversation where he's probably more Jedi than anyone on the council or anyone that we're ever introduced to, because he truly believes in the Jedi way. But to hear him tell Satine that if you would have told me to leave the Order, I would have for you. I would have dropped it all and left it for you. And even that being their last words together was, I mean, that was messed up.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I shed a tear.
Oh yes,
Whoa.
definitely.
So I kept thinking, I knew what was going to happen, obviously. I can't imagine what would have happened if I didn't.
Right.
I probably had watched the entire season straight and, you know. So, yeah. And, you know, to see the anger on Kenobi's face and to watch Maul watch Kenobi's anger and sit in that chair like Captain Kirk. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, definitely. I feel like in the Clone Wars, that's one of many profound scenes in that whole overarching story. Because again, it's where you really get a glimpse into Obi-Wan. Aside from being the master or the Padawan, you actually get to see him be human. And it's really cool because, I mean, that adds another dimension to Obi-Wan. And like you said, seeing him get angry all of a sudden, because I mean, I kind of feel like we saw the similar thing in Phantom Menace, but this anger stayed.
It tried to stay.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it stayed really a little more than the first.
He did. He was able to push it down, but he did not want to at first.
Oh, no. that was the murderous Kenobi look right there.
He was like, if I had you right now and I wasn't in this situation,
Exactly.
Well, I wanted to say the next thing that I saw was Sidious.
I love that scene. Like, okay, so have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?
No.
Okay, so it's a PlayStation game for anybody who doesn't know. But it's Kingdom Hearts. It's like Final Fantasy meets Disney and everything. Like, it's actually got Disney characters in it and all that kind of stuff. Love that game. One of my favorite games. But the way Sidious fought reminded me of one of those characters. There's like an Organization 13, and that's how they fight, is like dragging their swords, dragging their keyblades, and kind of things like that. And the way he fought was just so intimidating.
It really was. He could. Yeah. He was just playing with them too. He's like,
oh yeah.
Me.
Well, I mean, and you notice that too, and it's always creepy to me when, like, especially when he walked into the room for the first time. All of a sudden, you see the Mandalorians like shove up against the wall and slide straight up and everything. It's just kind of like, ugh. Like it feels like a poltergeist kind of thing.
I was thinking Freddy Krueger type stuff, but yeah. And you know, this was
to be in that room.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. And you know, he bows down and he's like, I've done all this to be right back at your side. Well, no, you're kind of a rival at this point, and you're dead. Well, kind of.
Exactly.
Your dreams, hopes and dreams are dead.
Yep. Literally rips it all away from him in seconds. Like, that's the craziest thing, too, because, I mean, obviously Sidious is keeping tabs on everything, taking note of everything that goes on in the galaxy. But I mean, Maul did become a rival. He was headed that way, and he realized, because I mean, for the first time, Maul pretty much united the underworld under one blanket, and then on top of that, completely took over a warrior culture, a warrior planet. So pretty much raised an entire army almost overnight. And Sidious is like, no, that can't happen. But the lightsaber battle, though, that ensued was one of my favorites, like, ever. That's one of my favorite battles, because I mean, it was
really amazing. And I loved the smile on Sidious's face when he stabbed double lightsabers into Savage.
Oh yeah.
And to see Maul's face, because the Sith have taken everything from him. They've taken,
Oh, yeah.
you know, his family. They've taken his whole life, really. They've taken his sanity. They've taken everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Well, and one thing that is, well, one thing among many that's cool to see come out of Maul in that scene is his care for his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not something that you ever see from Maul of care for anybody. He's got one mission only. He goes and he tries to play it off like, oh, you're just my apprentice. You're just the one I'm training. But you actually see him feel for someone else other than himself in that moment.
Well, Savage is the only person that has not betrayed or failed him. Because even though Savage died, I mean, that was failing him. And he says that I was a poor apprentice. You know, he was never a Sith. He was.
I think he even goes so far as to say, I wasn't ever like you, brother.
I was never like you. And, you know, and Maul had tried to make him like him. And I think that there's guilt there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, he's been so focused on that one thing, Kenobi. Getting revenge on Kenobi, making him suffer.
And Savage saved his life.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Multiple times. But
yeah, I mean, like the big, you know, when he's insane with Spider. He's.
Yeah, I mean, Savage was searching for family the whole time. Yes. He was searching for his brother.
That's what he wanted.
Maul didn't think that he needed family, but it came out in the end that was his brother, and that's what he calls him in the end and everything. And he doesn't want him to go. It's not one of those cold Sith, oh, well, I'm just throw you away, get a new one.
Right.
He actually cared for this person.
Right.
Which is a new side of Maul that we don't ever get to see.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we finish Clone Wars, that arc of Clone Wars with Sidious lightning and saying, well, I'm not going to kill you at least. So...
I still have use of you. Yeah.
Still have use of you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then we go all the way into Rebels.
Yes.
To one of my favorite episodes.
The Old Fool.
Yes. The Old Master.
Well, he's an old fool at first.
Well, he isn't. He is an old fool. But
yeah, but I mean, I thought they called him...
Oh, no. No, well, Ezra, or he had asked Ezra what his name was, and he says Jabba.
Right.
Ezra's sarcasm. And then he says, call me Old Master.
Right. No, I could have swore Ezra said something, old fool, more like it. Or something.
Probably, yeah.
I can't remember. I didn't
remember.
I didn't rewatch that one.
Yeah. All good. But we come into Twilight of the Apprentice, and we meet Old Master, which, I mean, anybody who knows anything about Star Wars at that point can see that this is Maul.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But he meets Ezra for the first time, which ends up being pretty big for the following stories and things like that, because and I love the whole kind of taunting Kanan of our apprentice or my apprentice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kanan's like, bruh. It's like, he's not yours. He will never be yours. And Maul's like, oh, yeah, our apprentice.
See, Kanan doesn't realize how close, though, Maul actually came.
Oh, yeah. He came very close to taking Ezra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, credit to Maul. I mean, he did make Kanan cooler.
Yes.
So, he did make him very, very...
Very cool and very blind.
Cool. Yeah, very blind.
So, Maul is able to play Ezra like a violin. So yeah, he's able to just play him.
Definitely. I mean, Ezra has been so naive this whole time. It's just, oh, Jedi training. Basically as if it were a kid in the real world, to be honest. I mean, if somebody had come up to me as a kid and were like, hey, I'm going to teach you to be a Jedi, I'm like, cool. I get a lightsaber?
Yeah, I get a lightsaber, and I never get to have an attachment again. That's a totally different story. That's a totally different show.
Well, Kanan doesn't teach him that way. And I like how Kanan even goes so far as to say that his teaching was incomplete in one of the episodes, because he's talking to Ezra saying, well, I've taught you all that I can teach you.
Right.
And he's like, well, I don't think so, because you can teach me about life. And
right.
you can teach me about so much more about being a man, and things like that. And so I feel like that warring faction between Kanan and Maul, like it gave Ezra's character a lot more dimension to me. Even though most of the time I was screaming at the TV going, Ezra, you're an idiot. But I mean...
Aren't all kids idiots, though?
I mean, at one point or another. But yeah, so, I mean, it was cool seeing somebody coming so close to the dark side. Because it's not something we've ever seen where someone's actually been able to flirt with the line and still come out how they originally... Yeah,
right.
come in on top and things like that. Because with that, I think it was a mid-season premiere or something like that, or actually it was the season 3 premiere, where you see Ezra actually use something he found from the Sith holocron, where he backed off that AT Walker. Because you and I kind of talked about it a while back, I think, but I didn't really take it to heart. It was almost like, oh, cool, use the Force or whatever. But like watching it again, I mean, it's kind of sickening to watch a little bit.
It's intense.
It's just kind of like, oh man. Because he literally led someone to commit suicide. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. But I mean, Maul has such a hold on him at that point. And he doesn't even realize it.
Well, how is him getting someone to commit suicide any different than him just throwing someone off of a cliff?
The morality.
See, you sang that time. Oh.
You're rubbing off on me.
I am. All right. So, he gets Ezra to flirt with the dark side, and then comes to him via the voices and the visions. Thus the name Visions and Voices.
That was a nice segue right there. You
like
did
that,
pretty well there. Yeah, that was good. Pretty slick.
I'm a good one. Smart.
Oh yeah.
Smart
Well,
as me. SMRT.
SMRT. But in this episode, so we get to go back to Dathomir and everything, to the Night Sisters and all that. What I found kind of jarring, even going back to, because I mean, obviously everything points to Kenobi. That's his whole purpose for everything. Maul actually has a shrine to Satine, where the Darksaber is right there. The hilt's displayed basically, and there's a painted picture of Satine behind it. I want to know what you what you think about that, because that was creepy as everything to me.
I think that it is his crowning achievement, and who would not have a trophy of their absolute favorite moment in their entire life?
That's true.
I mean, you have to think of it
So
from
messed
Maul's
up,
point
but
of
so
view.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
That was the moment that he cut the one person the deepest that he wanted to cut.
That's true.
And he's just gonna that moment to the end and back.
Well, like you said, he sat there and just watched it and enjoyed it as if it were his entertainment for the night.
He sat there and he grinned, and he sat there Captain Kirk style, like, what's up?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it was. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, and that's why, like, when I saw that, I was just, yeah. Well, and you'd mentioned too when you and I were kind of talking about this episode about the serial killer kind of thing, which made it even worse. But like he's, yeah, that creeped me out. That was a part where, and it sounds weird to say because I mean, obviously Maul has crossed quite a few lines, but for that one, it was just, that's where it really jarred me. Of like, oh gosh, okay, this is serious. This is really creepy.
It really is, and you know, but I mean, if you look at it from his point of view, at least one time in his life, he succeeded doing what he wanted.
That's true. He actually got to basically take a hit at the one person he's been after the whole time.
Exactly.
A pretty significant hit, too.
And then, I mean, why not rejoice in it? And have that there to look at and go, yep, I'm awesome. I'm so awesome.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, and another part of that episode though that I thought was worth noting, like we talked about Savage, where when Savage died, he called him brother, and he didn't want him to leave him, and he actually felt something for him. He calls Ezra that. He says we could be brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's searching to fill that hole that Savage left.
He wants to belong. He wants
Oh, yeah.
revenge, and he is still very Sith-like, but he does want to belong.
So do you think that maybe at that point, Maul has considered what life would be like if he had already succeeded in his revenge? Or do you think he was still blinded by it?
I think that he has already decided that what his life is going to be like past revenge. Yes, he is consumed by it until it happens, but he has been able to sit in that, darkness long enough to go, so once this happens, because it's gonna happen, right?
Right.
Because there's no thing in his mind that ever says in 3 swipes and you're done. 3 strikes and you're out. He seriously believes that this is going to work. And when it does, I wonder what's going to happen. That little kid, I'm going to make him me. Yeah,
Yep.
That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to pass my crazy on.
Yeah. That's what everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to duplicate themselves.
That's true.
I mean,
when
you have kids or whatever, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to duplicate yourself. Some people say they want a better life for their kids than they have for themselves, yet they pretty much try to make a little person that's exactly like them.
Now we're getting deep into it.
You asked.
Because I didn't think of Maul that way as far as, because I think with Ezra there is that little bit of legacy that he's looking for, but it almost kind of gives me that sense of that he's still searching for that family that he never got to have.
Well, that's exactly what he wants. He's been alone since Savage, except for torture, probably. We don't know.
Yeah.
But although one of my friends told me about a book, The Wrath of Darth Maul, and I'm looking forward to reading that.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think that as much of legacy, it's not duplicating yourself isn't necessarily just about legacy. It's about belonging and having someone value you enough to want to be your legacy.
That's true.
Because my kids, they love me, but in order for them to want to pass along my ideals, they're going to need to respect me enough and love, have enough passion for what I believe in to believe in it themselves.
Definitely. And you see that in Maul, too, with the manipulation that he uses on Ezra, where he acts super, super nice to him and builds that trust with him. Because you have that moment where Ezra goes over to get the Sith holocron. He's coming back, and Maul catches him by the holocron. And so you have that split second where Maul's like, should I let him go? Should I bring him up? Kind of stuff like that. You definitely see that throughout him and Ezra's relationship.
But that's what the Sith really are about, because there can only be 2, and you teach your apprentice just enough because you know what the only way to rank up in that organization is.
Exactly.
So when it comes to it, you kind of wonder, is this really a sustainable model?
Right. Which, and he even makes comment too multiple times about how the Sith they should be no more, that doesn't work, kind of things like that, where they abandoned him.
See, the Sith and the Jedi to me are relatively the same as far as like dogma, and you go in it and it's just all encompassing. It's everything. You can't just live by dogma. You have to live your life as a life. And
Definitely.
if not, you make a whole bunch of crazy people that go around killing people.
Which is most likely what would have happened if Maul had survived.
So then it comes down to the desert.
Yep. The twin sons.
So I knew this was coming. I was not disappointed in the fight scene.
I'm not anymore.
No,
because I know initially
that a
I
lot of
was.
people
Yeah.
were, because it happened so quickly. But
Yeah. Well, and for me, I think it was more of the trailering up to it. So it actually plays into your whole trailer version. Like it was the trailer up to it where it made it seem like it was just going to be this huge battle and all this other kind of stuff. But like rewatching it was huge. Yeah, you're right. Because going back through and rewatching it and everything, I mean, the weight of it is there.
Oh,
it
it's
is
there.
a huge
I
battle.
mean, it's like wham, wham, wham. And oh man, because Maul does his little growly thing, and then Kenobi's sitting there going, Satine this and Qui-Gon that, and Luke's over there, and wham, wham, wham. And you're dead.
Obi-Wan's not messing around at this point.
No, he says, I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm gonna be manipulative here in a short while. I'm gonna be he's a totally different person by this point. He's not Clone Wars Kenobi.
Right. Oh, absolutely. No, he's grown so much. And that's the thing is, like, you've got Maul, I mean, who has grown in some respects, we'll say. I mean, but he hasn't made the leaps that Obi-Wan has. Because Obi-Wan is here, he is here for one purpose, and that's it. So, old revenge and old enemies aside, you're not going to get close to this kid. Especially, and I think what really clicks for him, or at least what it seems like, is when he says that you're protecting someone. Maul calls him out on that. And Obi-Wan's like, nope, we're dropping it now. It's like, you're too close. I don't like it. So, yeah. But, I mean, I love that everything he did was defensive, though. Because thinking about it, Obi-Wan in Phantom Menace, offensive to Maul in that fight. The second time they meet after that, offensive. Becomes defensive because he's trying to get away. But I mean, every single encounter seems to be offensive where Obi-Wan's like, I'm playing into your hand, basically. Not intentionally, but he does what Maul wants him to do. At this point, he's like, you're going to swing.
Maul wanted him to cut him in half. I'm not sure.
Well, no, I don't think that he wanted No. But I mean, as far as like playing in his hand, is it like aggravating him, making him the aggressor.
I get the impression that he truly wanted to watch him turn before he killed him. To
see him break and abandon who he is.
Break and just give up everything that he has. Yeah, that's what I think he was trying to do.
Well, yeah, because he makes mention of it. I can't remember exactly how he says it, but he makes mention of it when with Satine and things like that. It's like, well, I don't want to kill him yet. I want him to suffer.
Right.
And I want him to suffer, and I'm going to watch it.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm going to be the spectator to him losing everything.
This is prime time to me.
Exactly. And so, in all honesty, I mean, if Obi-Wan had not, if it had not played out the way it did, which it would have been a travesty if it didn't, but if it had not played out the way it did, I feel like Maul would have left from where they were and headed toward Luke.
Yes.
Would have found him and was like, all right, cool. You got something else you care about? We'll take care of that.
We'll take care of that. I can handle that. And then there would be a little Luke picture right by Satine.
Oh. No. Man. And then the saga would have ended. No.
Directed by George Lucas. Well, actually, Dave Filoni in that case. But
there you go.
So I wrote an obituary for Maul. That's how much I truly appreciated his character. So, yeah, it's on the site. So I laughed at it a while ago. So hopefully somebody else can laugh too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing, is, I mean, like, yes, we dissect these characters and things like that, but you gotta have fun with it. I mean,
Right.
that's the whole thing of Star Wars. It's fun to talk about this stuff. And the obituary, I mean, you can't help but laugh because, like,
Well,
there's
it's punny.
yeah, exactly. That's what I love.
It's very punny.
We're both cheeseballs, so
I'm sure everybody knows that by now.
by now. But if you're just joining us, no, I'm just teasing. But anyways, but yeah, no, just like Heather said, check that out on the website for sure. It's kesselrunweekly.com. I think it's in our Just for Fun column.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah. So it's right there on the front page. You'll be able to see it and everything. I love reading it. I probably read it like 20 times already. I love it. Tis great.
But yeah, I think that overall, Maul is a very destroyed character.
Mm-hmm.
He's brutal and animalistic and caring and misunderstood all at the same time.
Very complicated
He's
character.
very complicated.
And I'm so glad that Filoni brought him back in the Clone Wars.
Me
I'm
too.
so glad for that.
And
Because,
I love how he brought him back.
exactly. It was awesome because it seemed, looking at his overall arc, it seems that his quest was one to try to be whole again, whether it be with that revenge or with his brother, anything like that. I mean, Maul's ultimate quest was to try to be whole again in some way. Ironically, because he was cut in half, but
Yes.
so whole in some way, multiple ways, actually.
Right. Of course, now his legs are lost without him.
That's true. Oh man, so we can do these all day. So.
Yes. Yeah, the obituary is full of them. So.
Oh yes. So if you like puns and cheesiness, check it
Yes.
out. All right, guys. So thank you again for joining us for our Darth Maul episode. It was very, very fun. If you want more, because I mean, let's be honest, you want more. You can visit us at kesselrunweekly.com for all of our past episodes and future episodes. They come out every
half a century of them. Not century, but like half 150.
Oh, yes. Yes, we crossed our milestone. I don't even know how we didn't celebrate it. We crossed our milestone with 50 episodes.
That's huge.
So 100 is just around the corner, right? There you go. So yeah, so definitely check those out. There's plenty of stuff there, and it never gets old. So I mean, or at least not to us or
No,
to me.
not
I don't
me.
know. But yeah, we come out with new episodes every single Wednesday and Friday, and they're up on our website and on our social media. Find us on social media, Instagram. We chill out a lot. Twitter, Facebook, at Kessel Run Weekly, and yeah. So cool. All right. Well, and that is this episode. So until next time, guys, my name is Danny.
I'm Heather.
And may the Force be with you.